to history, Ejiso, the NDC decided that they too were going to pull out following the death of Dr. John Kuma. And in certain areas, it's clear to see where the support is overwhelming for the other side. It's a tactical decision. You want to conserve your energy, your money, and your time.
Right.
I think that's just what we're seeing here when it comes to Tamale Central. Look at the kind of force that Comrade was in Tamale Central. It would be hard to beat that, even when he was alive, and trust me, probably even harder in death.
Right.
And so I think it's just a tactical decision on the part of the NPP. In fact, I was listening to another platform yesterday, and Nana B of the NPP made a suggestion that, he thinks that it will be a good idea if the NDC pull out of the Akwatia race. He said to show good faith. I suppose those are his personal opinions and have not been sanctioned by the party. So I don't want to ascribe that as a party position. But you don't need a degree in politics to infer. Nobody can be graduate.
This was the intention that, look, do this, scratch my back and let me scratch your back.
Especially if you read the wording of the release. The idea that, there's acrimony, there's discord, by-elections come with a lot of buga. Look at what we saw in Ablekuma North. It's in the interest of the country for both, sides to kind of lay down their tools and let what happens. Let's not be too competitive. That is the tone of that release we saw yesterday coming from the NPP, suggesting that they want to encourage the other side to also toe that line. Let's not get too noisy. But Akwatia is a different ball game.
It is a different kettle of fish altogether. Look, the New Patriotic Party officially endorsed Solomon Kwame Esumedu, CEO of Owo Mining Company, as its parliamentary candidate for the upcoming Akwatia by-elections. Now, the decision was made after extensive stakeholder consultations, during which a proposal to hold primaries was overwhelmingly rejected in favor of a consensus approach. That was the NPP's approach, that we will pick one person and endorse. On the other hand, the NDC chose 40-year-old lawyer Bernard Bediako Beidu, and he went through the process. He contested with Erasmus Kone Ali. He got 380 votes to 366 votes, while Henry got Wachiadom, former member of parliament for the area, got 266 votes. And then this Bernard Bediako Beidu got elected. So over 1,000 delegates voted, and then he emerged victorious. If you look at the difference between him, Bediako Beidu, and Ali Kone, it's almost close. That's 366 versus 380, almost close. It tells you how interested the NDC is in the Akwatia seat, because the NDC has held it before. Baba Jamal was in charge of that seat for some time. I think he was a one-term MP. So it's a toss-up. Akwatia is a toss-up,
that's right,
if you will. And with all their issues about this Fulani headsmen and, the farming and all those conversations. Look now, let's look at the trajectory from 2000, Helen. Guide me.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at what it's looked like for both the NPP and the NDC. So in the year 2000, the NPP took that seat, but all throughout you see the margins are not that huge. Some 48.9% to the NPP as against 42.8% to the NDC. Fast forward 4 years, 2004, you've got 52.2% to the NPP as against NDC's 47.1%. So you see NPP took it in 2000, took it again in 2004.
Right.
Fast forward 2008, the NPP still holding on to that seat, 53% was the vote to the NPP, 46.9% to the NDC. Still very close by our election standards all throughout. Now, when it came to 2012, things flipped. The NDC then took that seat with some 50.4% as against NPP's 49.9%. 0.07%, and that would have been their closest race yet, very tight, but the NDC emerged victorious, flipping that seat. Then 4 years on, 2016, which no surprises there across the board, that was the year the NDC lost by huge margins to the NPP, 57.21% as against the NDC's 42.45%. That was reflected across the board, across the country. So no surprises there. But guess what? In 2020, it flipped again. You have 51.5% to the NDC, 48.5% to the NPP. Still slim margins. And then we take it to 2024, which interestingly mimics 2004's results, which is 20 years on, pretty much the same results, 52.83% to the NPP, now 47.17% to the NDC. This seat has been kind of flipping.
This is what, 20 years apart, and the results
were the same.
Remain same.
Yes.
So if you look at it, there have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elections in that constituency. The NPP has won 5 of those elections.
That's right.
And the NDC has won 2 of those elections on the parliamentary front. If the NDC wins that seat, it becomes their 3rd. If the NPP wins, it becomes their 6th. Right? And it's a heavily contested constituency. There are no presidential elections now.
That's right.
But it's important to look at the data to also look at who's been winning what in that constituency. What do we know, Helen?
Very interesting. Now look at 2000, that wide gap. 70% to the presidential elections. This is in Akwatia. Presidential results. 70% to the NDC. Some 20.
This was in 2000.
25% to the NPP.
So while the NPP won the parliamentary elections in Akwatia in year 2000, they lost the presidential elections woefully.
And then you fast forward 2004. Now that gap significantly closed, and then you see that sort of close terrain that you have in the parliamentaries. 55.88% to the NPP as against the NDC's 43.37%.
It's important to note that in year 2000, this was Jerry Rawlings exiting, President Mills coming in to contest with John Agyekum Kufuor of the NPP. Interestingly, John Agyekum Kufuor did not garner a lot of votes in year 2000. Professor Mills got a lot of votes in year 2000. But then, having governed for 4 years, you realize that President Kufuor now closes the gap.
That's right.
And then inches up from 25.7% to 55.8%. And then the NDC drops, Tamale's votes drop from 70.3% to 43.37%. Significant. Then let's go to 2008.
2008, what does that look like? For the NPP, they garnered 56.71%. Again, this is presidential results, as against the NDC's 42.47%.
So look at it. In 2004, it was 55.8 for the NPP, 43.37 for the NDC. In 2008, it was 56.71 for the NPP and 42.47. You see the dip?
Yeah.
+1, -1.
That's right.
So what the NPP lost, the NDC lost, the NPP gained.
Indeed. Now we go to 2012. The gap in that year not as significant. In fact, the closest race presidential-wise in Akwatia. You've got NPP garnering 47.72% of the votes, which is a drop from the earlier 56.71%.
Right.
And then you have the NDC appreciating to some 51.61% from 42.47%. NPP went down, NDC went up.
By this time, John Mahama had come into power.
Right.
So this was John Mahama's election, right? His first coming into the picture, right?
That's right.
So at this point, he had come with a fresh energy, and he renewed it.
That's right.
But then you fast forward to 2016,
Indeed.
and you realize that was when Ghanaians wanted John Mahama out of the picture. So his votes dropped significantly from 51.61% to 52.29%. And then the NPP got a lot more because now Nana Addo had come in in there as president, that's 56.93%. But how did Nanado fare in 2020?
So in 2020, Nanado got 56.90%. As against John Dramani Mahama's 42.32%. So he wasn't able to really gain much at all between 2016 and 2020 in Akwatia. And actually, as far as the NPP is concerned as well, not a huge jump, still in the 56 range. In fact, a slight depreciation there for the NPP, although winning presidential, and a slight increase, the slightest, for the NDC in 2020. Then fast forward to 2024, it was 49.7% for the NPP as against 48.97% for the NDC. So the second coming of John Dramani Mahama still didn't win the hearts of Akwatia, but this was close. I mean, less than 1% between the
very
two.
close indeed.
Very close.
And that was the election that brought in Ernest Yaokumi, first time MP. In fact, the NDC went ahead to contest this in court over and over again. The lawyer who went to represent the NDC's candidate in the 2024 elections is the one who has now been elected the parliamentary candidate.
So in fact, he stood against his own client former client.
That's right.
Okay.
No, this remains his clients though.
Once a client, always a client. Fair.
3FM Sunrise.
The best in the morning is on 92.7 Sunrise on 3FM.
Only because they expect to win. Sometimes they do so to gauge their strength, measure their support base, both in parliament and within constituencies, and identify ways to improve in areas where they lost. It's also an opportunity to learn what the electorate wants, address those needs, and build goodwill to increase future support. In essence, by-elections can be a strategic tool for self-assessment and growth, not just a contest for immediate victory. I agree. Now, if you look at the 2024 dynamics, for example, this was the NPP in power. This is supposed to be in the Eastern region. This is supposed to be in the president at the time, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's region, his home region. So if there was any proper thank you or farewell message that the people of the Eastern region wanted to give, it would have been a resounding victory for the MPP. But it does appear that in 2024, the MPP struggled to win that Akwatia seat. They struggled so hard to the point of even struggling after the declaration had been made.
That's right.
All right, to the point where Ernest Yaokumi, my good friend who's now late, almost saw the inside of a jail.
That's right.
You know, because the argument then had been that you had not been sworn in, you had not been declared, but you are here in Parliament taking the oath. And we'll get to that conversation. It's some 42 minutes after 8 on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer is joining us. He's Deputy Director of Elections of the NDC. He is also the Acting Chief Executive Officer of KIFEC. Doc, good morning. Thank you very much for your time.
Good morning, my big brother. How are you?
I'm learning. The MPP says they will not participate in the Tamale Central by-elections because of the exigencies of the time, also because of how the death happened, and also in furtherance of their fight against Galamsey, so that we can have a unified front. What do you think from the election directorate of the NDC?
Big bro, let me say good morning to your cherished listeners. And I must say, we are in the mourning mood.
Right.
We are still mourning the death of our heroes,
Right.
the fallen heroes.
Right.
And then it's actually not on the table. But you see, our brothers in the NPP, they are not learning, and they will never learn anything. I wouldn't want to delve into their release, but the hypocrisy in it is legendary. I don't think we should take them serious. This is a party that came out, held press conference, and told the whole world that they were not participating in Abdulkumanov's rerun, and even went to court. But Big Bro, you saw what happened on that day.
Right.
So how can you take sick people with their writings and comments serious? Time and again, they are just making mockery of themselves, and I don't think you should give them with the credence they deserve with that kind of write-up. Until the by-election is over, don't take any statement coming from NPP serious, because we've seen it before. By any case, this is not the first time a political party is withdrawing from a contest. NDC, we did it severally. AGISO, we didn't contest. I mean, we left it.
Right.
The first time by Tampon came to Parliament 2016 was a by-election. We didn't contest that by-election. But, so, I mean, this is not the first time political. So if they decide that, look, but that's what I'm saying. The only thing is that they should let us know the difference between, do we have different types of death? As soon as somebody dies, is death. If you died and we bury you and perform your funeral, that's it. I don't think Ernest Kumi has traveled. He didn't travel. We are all mourning him. He said he was a fine young man. I mean, he's somebody I admire from afar. He was upcoming young guy. He was full of life and all that. But he died. And so we had to replace him with an MP. The same thing, our fallen heroes in action. They died in action. In the course of work to develop the good country that we are all looking for. They died. We are all mourning it. They need replacement. That is how life is. And so you don't do politics with this kind of thing. In any case, the MPP, they know. I mean, how can you overturn 52,000 plus 16,000? The last election, their candidate garnered only 16,000 plus. Honorable Mutala got 52,000 plus. So even twice of their results cannot even come closer to him.
So you're saying that the MPP is running away from an obvious defeat. Is that what you're saying?
Of course. That is what I'm just saying. It's clear. It's a political strategy they have put out there. It's the gauntlet, political gauntlet. It's not anything about consoling anybody or that is what they're just out to. And they know it. Any politician would make that kind of decision. Why would I go for a contest when I know I have to fight twice to beat the one who beat me 52,000 as against your 16,000? How do you go into such a contest? And the performance of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has dwindled the light of the NPP in the country for the past 8 months now. And so they know that any contest that we are going in with them, they will definitely lose. There's no way, even where they claim they have strongholds, they cannot stand us there. Now, everybody is fed up with them. The party itself is in disarray. They need to reorganize themselves.
Right.
I think they need our consultancy in order to reset themselves.
Right.
Very well. I mean, so for now, we are mourning our fallen heroes, all our leadership. We are in Tamale currently. Today is the final funeral rites of Honorable Mutala. So we are here with all leadership to mourn him and then make sure that he has a smooth path to heaven.
Right.
That is what I told them. I don't know why they are so interested in propaganda, even in the midst of this.
We'll come back to that Akwatia conversation, but I do know that your immediate boss at the election directorate of the NDC was part of the victims of the helicopter crash. So the work now falls on your lap. But first tell me, how has this affected your work at the election directorate of the NDC?
Big Bro, it has not been easy at all. I mean, since Wednesday, it's been a terrible spectre. We've been managing the whole issue, trying to pick the pieces together. Because knowing Omani and his strategy, just imagine how we can fall into his shoe. Because the man was damn brainy. when he put pen and paper together, you know that this is really somebody who is up to his task. And on that fateful morning, Wednesday morning, 6th August, we had a meeting about Akwatia, put the strategy together. He was directing us what to do. You do this, computer, you do this, somebody, you handle this, and all that. This is how we're going to do it. Little do we know that the man was just giving us a bye-bye like that in the morning. And so you can imagine it has not been easy. But where we are putting the pieces together, the body camera code, thankfully he gave it to us. We know the code, we can decode it.
Right.
And we'll take it on from there and see how best. We will still keep it to our chest as he warned us and advised us how to go about it.
Right.
And then to manage the election processes. We'll pick the pieces and move ahead.
What manner of man was Dr. Edward Omani Boama heading the electorate directorate of the NDC?
This guy, he was down to earth. He was the type open to advice and always having the listening ear to everyone who comes with ideas that can help us push the agenda of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. That was the type of person. In fact, when you are far from him, you think what people are saying about him was the truth. Unless you come closer to him, then you get to know that this man was down to earth. He was down to earth. He was not the snobbish type. He has listening ear to everyone and ready to help. That was the type of person he was. And I'm not surprised we had this huge victory in 2024 because of this approach we adopted, and he being the arrowhead, everything was working perfectly for us.
Now, let's come to Akwatia, but first let me acknowledge Dr. Zato, who is joining us on the phone line. He's also a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana. Doc, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning.
Great. Let me pick your initial thoughts on the NPP's decision not to contest the Tamale Central seat. Good faith, or are they fleeing from imminent defeat?
Good morning to you and good morning to your listeners. You know, when I hear people saying, just like the last part of your question, fleeing from imminent defeat, then I ask the question, the people, where from this cynicism? His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, has called on all Ghanaians to be patriotic, to avoid acts that would divide the country, and to honor the memory of these patriots who died serving their country. The NPP is simply saying, Mr. President, we hear you and we accept that. And we believe that the best way we can do that, the best way we can help you achieve your objective of uniting the country, of honoring the dead, is to avoid a vicious, probably violent by-election in the background of Honorable Mutala who passed. The last thing we want to do is to subject his record to public scrutiny. The last thing we want to do is to see men and women fight to take the seat that he just vacated, while his young wife and children watch on. We want to honor him, and the best thing we can do is to say that we accept what the president says and we'll let it go. That is the message from the NPP. So if somebody is being cynical or running away from the defeat, they must ask the question, was the president being cynical when he asked Ghanaians to absorb divisions? If the president was being honest, if he was being genuine, he was being sincere, then you must also then believe that the NPP's decision is genuine, sincere, and honest, and vice versa.
But the NPP said the same thing in respect of Ablekuma North. In fact, the General Secretary is on record to have addressed the press conference to say that the NPP will not participate in the rerun because they believe they have won the elections. Only for Akwatia Free, the member of parliament, the immediate past member of parliament, to have come to say that I'm going to contest. And she indeed contested in that by-election. That flip-flop could be the inspiration for the streets asking the question, are you not fleeing from defeat?
No, the flip-flop you just mentioned, on whose part?
The flip-flop is that the party held a press conference and told the entire world that they were not going to participate in the rerun at Ablekuma North.
Yes.
And the understanding of all of us is that once the party's general secretary has spoken, it is law for everybody, particularly the candidate in question. The candidate ignores what the party has said and goes ahead to participate in that election with the party's emblem and logo. And that was seen as a flip-flop, if you will. Don't you think so?
So your question now is, because of that, then the party will get a candidate again, will go and contest in Tamale Central. Is that the comparison I'm trying to make?
I am not making the comparison. I'm saying that if it's happened before, what's the possibility that it might not happen? That's why the question was...
Those two scenarios have absolutely nothing in common. Absolutely nothing in common. Ablekuma was not a by-election.
Sunrise on 3FM.
It was not a by-election. Secondly, look, sometimes we must understand things. As at the time the party was telling the woman not to contest, the woman was leading in the counts. She had more votes in the ballot box counted than the other woman. So she felt right that, look, you don't quit when you are ahead. That is a public saying. So again, that is a completely different and unique scenario. Two, Tamale Central is also completely different. Here, somebody is dead. Here, the president says, let's mourn the dead, let's honor their memories. Here, the MPP is saying, we are listening to the president. We are going to do exactly that. And here is a by-election, not a mop-up of 3 or 4 or even, should I say, 30 polling stations.
I see.
So they are well apart.
Let me ask Dr. Tanko Rashid. Doc, what do you think? This is what Dr. Zato thinks. What do you think?
Let me say good morning to my friend, Dr. Zato. Clearly, I can understand the direction he's coming from. You know, NPP is a political party that, I said, is currently going through a difficult terrain. They need to reset themselves and then come clean. Look, mourning is mourning. There is no special mourning from another. Ernest Kumi died. Honorable Ernest Kumi. We are mourning him. He's not been there yet. We are still mourning him. But the NPP has no issue statement that they are not contesting it because we are mourning Ernest Kumi. They haven't issued that statement. So where from this, the argument that because the president said we should mourn the dead, so they will not go and contest because they also want to mourn. They are also mourning Ernest Kumi. So why are they contesting that one?
Okay, so can I just answer you on that?
Okay, go ahead, Doc.
Thank you. When Ernest Kumi died, did the president ask that flags all over the country should fly at half-mast? No. When Ernest Kumi died, did the president ask that we should have all these mournings that we are doing? No. When Ernest Kumi died, did we see the president crying in public, being consoled in public? No. When Ernest Kumi died, did you see a special event or special events held at Jubilee House and all over the place? No. Please. Again, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Those are two different things. Don't equivocate them. Unless my friend Mr. Tanko is saying that the president was being cynical or partisan when he said that. Let's take that fact. Unless my friend who is saying is that we should completely disregard what the president said and disregard the national mood. Again, he should say that. But you cannot on the one hand say, let's respect the president, what the president is saying, let's respect the national mood, let's do this. But then a party then says that, okay, we are responding to that. And then you say that the party is not being honest. Then ask yourself, if the party is not being honest, Is the president being honest? You cannot have it both ways, my friend. Those are two different. Because listen, people mourn differently. You are right. Then a political party says that.
You borrowed my time, so let me come in.
Those are two different things.
I hear you, Doc. Let's hear Dr. Tanko as well. Yes. Doc, go ahead. Let's hear you, Dr. Tanko.
Yes, okay, you borrow my time. Let me come in. I'm saying that NPP, the flip-flopping nature of the party doesn't give credence to the statement they issued yesterday. And I'm happy, Big Bro, Hughes, you just mentioned it to them. Look, I will not be surprised when the die is cut for the by-election to be held in Tamale Central. This party will come back and say they are contested because we know them. This is not their first time they've taken such position. And I'm saying that this will not change. The reason is this. Why they are running away from Tamale is you cannot have 16,000 to contest a candidate that had 52,000. It doesn't make sense politically to even think of going there. And so if they are saying they are not contesting, naturally they have done their political calculations and know that, look, we shouldn't go and humiliate ourselves the more. Because this party is strong, the NDC is strong. Ghanaian people, they have confidence in them. Whatever they are doing, their policies are working for them. And so if we go there, we will humiliate ourselves very much. That's why they are running away.
Oh, I'm not sure that is the situation, Doc.
Oh, that is what I'm telling you. Brother Hughes, look at the figures. Figures don't lie. And I'm just telling you that currently we have 52,000 plus in our basket. They have 16,000. Twice of their 16,000, we give them 32,000. They can't even come near the 52. So how can you go into election of that nature?
I see.
I'm saying, yes, because we are mourning, we don't want to have this kind of discussion. But the MPP will always throw something in the public space, knowing very well that we are in the midst of mourning our dead. Why wouldn't they allow us to finish mourning, have our national funeral, which comes on Friday? After Friday, which is 15th, then we can battle ourselves out.
Why?
But you see, in the midst of this, why are they introducing all this?
Why does
they are not mourning with us as they expected? And I thought they should have waited after 15th. Then we can take, because right now Parliament has not even declared the seat vacant.
Right.
The Electoral Commission has not issued statement that they are doing by-election in Tamale Central.
Right.
Why are you jumping the gun?
Doc, you want to bring some clarity on that matter?
Me, I'm happy to see Dr. Tonko clutching at a straws here. On the one hand, look at him saying that we are mourning. And you know, everybody listening to us knows, the moment somebody dies, the next day, another person is scheming to replace him. We know that. We know that there will be people already scheming in Tamale Central for the MPP primaries and to replace him. And Tonko also has done a lot of elections. And he knows sometimes political parties contest an election, even if they don't win, it helps them to better strategize, to know. They test, political parties sometimes use by-election and others to test messages, to test strategies, and to test the popularity of people. And also to energize their base. So there are a lot of things you can gain even if you lose an election. Look, as he's saying, MPP has lost by that much. The MPP could say, okay, let's go in. If we can make it to 20,000, even if we don't win and we add the numbers, we can then consider it an improvement. All these are political calculations that the party goes in. So parties don't just contest elections. If that's the case, why is the MPP always contesting whole Central, South, Song, North, all those places? You and I know that those places would always vote NDC,
right.
And they are vice versa with the Manshell. But they do that because there are other values to get by contesting. So that is the part thing. Now, why I'm saying is clutching as close as this, then look at it. Then you say we are mourning. The MPP is simply saying that those MPP members who are already starting to campaign in Tamale Central, stop it. Those constituency executives who are already organizing and planning, instead of mourning, stop it. Those regional executives and national executives who are all planning, remember, MPP is going to, it's restructuring. So if you're having any by-election anywhere, potential or real national executives, candidates will flop that place. All those people stop. This is the best way to do this. Simply nip everything in the bud. Don't create an electoral or political colossus in Tamale Central.
But Dr. Zato, if that be the case, that the other values that come with election is also paramount, then the MPP should have actually been in Akwatia, knowing that the 2024 election results was a close call. It was not decisive, really. I mean, it ended up in court and all of that. It was a very, very, very close call. If that be the case, then the MPP should have been on the grounds, no?
At the grounds where?
Should have been in Akwatia to contest so that the other values you talk about whip up the base, strengthen.
The MPP is contesting Akwatia, are they not?
Tamale Central, sorry about that. Tamale Central.
So, again, so that is what I'm saying, Johnny Hughes. I think both you and Tonko, you are not getting the bigger picture.
No. Wait.
No, I'm not waiting. The party is saying
wait.
There are certain things that we consider more than electoral victory.
Yes, and I'm saying that if that be the case, Dr. Zato, if that be the case, those other values you talk about, then you should actually be in Tamale Central if what you're saying is anything to go by.
No, but the party says we don't want any of those values. We don't want them. We want to honor these people. It's a decision that they are making, that this is our sacrifice. This is what we are giving up. All these things. And again, that's the point I'm now making. I now ask you, when Enes Kumi died, did we have all these things happening? No. This is something different. They are saying that this seat is even more than Honorable Murtala alone. It's also honoring the servicemen. It's honoring all these people who died in the service of their nation. So my point is that you cannot on the one hand say that, okay, let's mourn these people, let's come together as a nation, let's learn lessons from it, let's be patriotic. And then on the other hand, you now say that the party shouldn't also play their part. The NPP is playing their part. And what is their part? Their part is that the best way we can mourn this man, the best way we can honor this man's family, the best way we cannot tear this country apart furthermore is to abstain from this.
So you think that the MPP...
To understand that?
So you think that the MPP deserves applause instead?
I'm not saying applaud them. No, I'm not saying applause. I'm simply saying that you can understand their sacrifice from this perspective. You can understand their sacrifice that it's a more... Look, you should know, and I know Tanko knows, that if, had it not been because of this, there are already people in the NDC right now who are scheming to replace Murtala. You know that, I know that. There are already men and women on the ground in Tamale making phone calls, looking around, looking at what role to play in his funeral and other things to replace him. You know that, I know that. We cannot be cake about that. MPP is saying that we don't want to have any hand in doing those things. That is what they are saying. I'm saying that if you juxtapose what the MPP has said with what the president has called for and with the national mood, then you will see that it is a righteous call, it is the correct call, it is in line with the national mood now. Sometimes what happens is that people misread the public mood. The MPP has read the public mood and they've understood what the president is calling for, and they are saying that we want to go with the national mood.
I hear you.
To applaud or not to applaud them, I leave it to anybody to bet. It is within this context that you can appreciate the sacrifice they are making.
Dr. Tanko, in wrapping up, are you misreading the public mood?
Well, big bro, I am telling you that we are in the mourning mood. We are mourning our fallen heroes. We declined the invitation of the NPP into their propaganda. We declined that invitation. We would respond appropriately after 15th. After 15th, they will hear from us. For now, we are mourning our dead. We want to make sure that we give them befitting burial, and then they'll hear from us. We don't want them to distract us in the mourning process. It's a national disaster, and we believe that they should have responded appropriately to that. They came along with us. Their leadership were with us at the national vigil and all that, only for them to throw out this kind of statement in the midst of mourning. That's not fair enough to the NDC. Completely unfair. I think they have picked up too much, and they should hold on. After 15th, we'll slug it out. They shouldn't be in a hurry. They should hold on.
Doc, finally to you. You were laughing. What could have inspired that laughter?
No, you see, it's the difficulty with which Tanko is trying to have. On the one hand, The NPP is saying we want to mourn. It's mourning time, so nobody should start politicking. Nobody should start tickling delegates for support in Tamale Central. Nobody should start calling delegates to ask for their support. Listen, nobody should start looking at what they are going to get or not get in the primaries in Tamale Central. Because again, you and I and everybody listening know that within the end, it's happening right now. Look, opportunities happen in life. Sometimes there's something we call policy windows in policy analysis. And most of the biggest policy windows come as a result of natural disasters. Things that you didn't expect to happen, all of a sudden, a big policy window opens. There are people within the NDC who have dreams of contesting or becoming MP for the place. They never would have done it if Honorable Murtala was alive. They've seen their chance. They are making their moves. It is politics. They are making their moves to place themselves. If the party decides to go for a primary so that they win, they are making their moves to play. If the party decides to go with an unanimous somebody, they win. All this joking, political joking, is happening in Tamale Central right now, undermining the call of the president to mourn the guy. NPP is saying we don't want to be part of this internal or local joking. We don't want to see our people running around making calls, now trying to use this man's funeral as a launching pad for their political ambition. We don't want any of that. How can you be against that? That is the public mood. That is the national mood. Okay. And the MPP is right there with the national and the public mood.
And they will achieve what in the final analysis in the bigger picture for the MPP? Do you know?
No, I don't know. The bigger picture is that they would have ended up honoring this man. They would have ended up honoring this patriot who died. They would have ended up obeying and agree with the president that this is not the time for political joking. This is the time to honor the dead.
Thank you, Dr. Zato. We're grateful for your time. Dr. Tanko, you have the closing thoughts. What do you have to share?
Well, let's mourn the dead for now. We will not, like I stated earlier, we will not follow them or accept the invitation from the MPP. We will finish our processes on the 15th, come Friday, at the Independence Square. After the funeral, they will hear from us. For now, we'll allow them to continue with their early propaganda. We will not accept that kind of invitation from them.
Dr. Sofo Tanko Rashid, Computer Deputy Director of Elections of the NDC and also acting CEO of GIFEC. We're grateful that you joined us here. We'll take a quick break. When we return from this break, we'll go to Tamale after this break. Stay with us here on Sunrise on 3FM and 92.7. Before we go on that break quickly, let's have that conversation with Dr. Jonathan Asante-Otri. Doc, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Johnny.
How are you doing, sir?
Well, after putting my mother to rest, I've resumed fully. So I'm okay now.
Great. The NPP says they will not participate in the Tamale Central by-elections because of the way and manner in which their colleague, or if you like, Comrade Murtala, died, and also because of the fight against Galamsey and all the other issues that were mentioned in between. What do you say from a political science point of view?
Well, thank you very much. Let me say good morning to those in the studio, to your good self, and to your cherished listeners. I think that it is a Trojan horse, in as much as it could be construed as a kind gesture. Underneath it, I think that the motive is not a sincere one, because if it is a matter of someone mounting a moral high ground, using it as a bait for the NDC, so that if the NDC declines that particular offer, then people will see the NDC as, quote-unquote, being greedy. After all, you have 2/3 less Murtala Mohammed, then it means when you get it back, you get your number back. So others will be thinking, why do you want to add Akwatia to it? This is a democracy. It is not a church fellowship. And it is a matter of those who are there and the kind of representative that they want to have in Parliament. Nobody can be moralized on this particular issue. Besides, what is the moral record of the MPP with respect to by-elections? When Ayawaso West Wagon happened, it was out of death. We saw what happened there. Look at the way and manner the Chikwesen was taken through, denying the people of Asin representation. In the end, they lost miserably, and so on and so forth. And so, if you asked me, I see it as a bait. It is a good gesture, but not a sincere one. Now, that being said, when you go into elections, it's not just about losing or winning. It's about securing data that you can use to project into the next election. So, for example, when the NDC contested the Kumewu by-election, I think last year or last 2 years, I've forgotten the year, I said to the NDC that they will not win that particular seat, but what they are looking forward to is to see how they can show up their vote and use that data to project with respect to the Ashanti region. That is what I said, and that's exactly what happened. And I said that, look at the way, if they had not contested, they wouldn't have known that they were going to have over 1,000 votes, right? More than what they had in the 2020 election.
Right.
So I said that if these numbers are to be replicated in the Ashanti region, the NDC or the MPP will be in opposition. And today that is what has actually happened, because it was replicated across, that particular region. So whether they are going to win Akwatia or not, the point is that if you look at what the MPP had with respect to the MPship at Tamale Central, the one Sulemana who contested the late Honorable Mutala, he had 16,000 votes.
Right.
Honorable Mutala had 52,000 votes or thereabout.
That's right.
So if that is the case, then it means that the MPP does not stand a chance with respect to that particular constituency. So it is not a matter of equity. It is a matter of political strategy on the part of the MPP to mount a moral high ground so that the NDC could be seen as being greedy. So if you look at Akwatia, for example, look at the insignificant vote difference between Dr. Bawumia and His Excellency the President, Mr. Mahama. So if you look at the person who is going to contest, this is a very person who was in the fray when the NDC had such a huge number with respect to the presidential. Of course, the parliamentary, the vote difference is a bit higher. It's more higher than what Dr. Bawumia had. So parliamentary dynamics, are usually different. And if you are to look at what Global Info analytics data that they have put out there with respect to Akwatia, those that they interviewed, so to speak, put the developmental project as number one, as being the main motivation that will influence their vote. And then the second thing that is talk about is the economy. The third is education. I think fourth is galamsey or something of that sort. Now, what is it called? Sympathy vote because somebody has died is very insignificant out there, according to the data that we have interrogated. Although Global Informatics put the MPP candidate ahead. So I am saying that if, for example, the people that they interviewed are suggesting that they will look at developmental projects, if developmental project, significantly is present in Akwatia, then it will favor the incumbent party candidate.
Right.
Now, if it is the economy, which comes second, then, as I said with Ablekuma North, for example, is it North or Central?
Ablekuma North. Ablekuma North, yes.
I said that as long as you have 19 polling stations that they are going to use to do the runoff, and looking at the performance of the current government, then, and I said it when I was in London, that the NDC is likely to win because they are part of Ghana. They are seeing reduction in fuel prices. We are seeing reduction in transport fares. That in itself will culminate in the reduction in prices of food and services. And today, the AGI is even telling us that if the commercial banks should reduce their lending rate or interest rate, for that matter, as the policy rate that's been reduced by the Bank of Ghana, they are ready to reduce their prices of production. What that means is that the economy is getting stronger. This is the same economy that the city has appreciated about 40% against the dollar. So definitely, we need to see in terms of even prices of vehicles, duties at the port and other things, all these things must reflect. And if they are, and Akwatia being the microcosm of Ghana, then it means that those over there, as rational human beings, they will respond accordingly. So you see that there isn't much difference, but it will also boil down to character. After all these factors, it will boil down to character.
Right.
If the MPP's candidate was selected as an imposition, clothed as consensus, then the MPP will have internal problems to deal with. The NDC conducted elections. That lawyer, who happens to be the secretary or something of that sort,
that's right,
emerged. So he is already with the grassroots. So the dynamics over there do not in any way compare to that of Tamale Central.
Great.
And so if the MPP is not contesting that place, of course they wouldn't want to waste their resources. They are no longer in government, they are in opposition. And now they will have to be soliciting funds from those who have been financiers of the party. And so the dynamics are different. The gesture may be good, but it's not a sincere one. And NBC itself will need that data for future projections, because Eastern region happens to be, apart from a central region, the mainstay of the MPP. So if they are able to make inroads in areas like Akwatia that has been flip-flopping for some time now, but more on the side of the MPP, if they are able to take that, it doesn't mean they are weakening the MPP, but it means that Ghanaians are punishing MPP for the sins of yesteryears, and they are giving the goodwill to the NDC for the goods that they are delivering today. Therefore, if tomorrow you get opportunity, you will be able to run the economy well and deal with the people the way and manner they should be dealt with.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jonathan Asante-Ottoro is a political analyst and senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. We're grateful that you could join us this morning.
You're welcome, John.
Thank you. Helen, 2 cents.
Well, Dr. Tanko says that we should wait till after the 15th, and then they'll fully immerse themselves in what is going on.
They will respond.
They said they will respond. It will be interesting to see what the response of the NDC as a party is. But from where I sit, I think we'll see no contest in Tamale Central. But as for Akwatia by-election, it's coming on Philly Gadochi.
We'll take a break. When we return from this break, there's more here. We'll take you to Tamale Central, where the final funeral rites for the late Alhaj Dr. Comrade Murtala Ibrahim Mohammed is underway. The Adua is underway now, and we'll take you there and bring you some updates. See you shortly after these messages.
Always busy on the go. Tap the app, you're good.
corruption. The challenges. I'm not a saint, but at least you do your possible best to avoid it. I don't have money. What I have, what I get is my salary. And wallahi, not a dime of Tamale Central has ever touched my tongue or bought a book for my son or my daughter, because I know that I will account for it. And our society today, if you don't have money, you have no value in our society. The moment you are given an appointment, your family thinks that their lives have changed. The moment you have a small opportunity, people think that you must provide. If you don't have, they disrespect you. And that has pushed several politicians to engage in corruption. That pushed people. And I am particularly worried. I am worried for myself as a Muslim. And I'm worried because which have I spent that I didn't need to spend? Which have I spent inadvertently or unknowingly that I shall account for it? That should be a profound worry. That should be a worry.
Capital of the Northern Region, Tamale, and zooming straight to the Tamale Central constituency, where the NDC's Comrade Murtala Mohammed Ibrahim has been laid to rest, but the final adwa is happening now. Christopher Marco, as our correspondent, is joining us now. Chris, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Johnny.
Great. Now, what's happening in Tamale Central this morning?
Yes, so we are here at the family house of late Member of Parliament for Tamale Central Constituency, Dr. Murtala Mohammed. The final funeral rites, Adua, or Quranic recitation has begun, and as it stands now, all the people, close to 1,000 of them gathered here, are taking part in the observance of the final funeral rites of the late Member of Parliament. Johnny, I can say that as of now, it's beginning to drizzle, and so some sort of disorganized thing happening right now because the weather is not good here. People are beginning to seek shelter in houses close to where the final funeral rites is taking place. But I have also spotted some government officials, the Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways, who doubles as Member of Parliament for Tamale North Constituency. Alhassan is already seated here and taking part in the final funeral rites. We also have the Member of Parliament for Karaga constituency, the former Minister of Finance, Dr. Mohammed Amin Azam, is also here, together with the Member of Parliament for Shebu, Alhassan, including traditional authorities and other people who have come here to mourn and also participate in the final funeral.
And would this signal the final end, or would have to wait for some 40 days before something else is done? What do we know?
So you know that the late Member of Parliament belongs to a Muslim sect, that is the Al-Sunnah Muslim sect. For them, once someone dies and the burial takes place, the final funeral rites follows immediately. In fact, in some instances, it is even performed the very day the person passes on or it varies. And so, but this one, looking at the circumstances, that's why even we are seeing the third day Adua or the final funeral. If not, most of them do very near the first passes on and it varies. And once the prayers are said, that ends it. But this one, because of the circumstances surrounding the death, they have brought the funeral home, and that is why they are doing the final one today. So after this one, there won't be any funeral rites again for the late member of parliament.
Do we know if royalty is represented at this event?
But the Yanes delegation is hugely represented. The Interior Minister has just arrived at the funeral ground. Apart from the Yanes representative, we have the Lamashagu chief, who has also come to mourn with the family. We also have the Nyankpala chief. We also have the chairman of the NDC, Asedu Iketia, also just arriving with the government delegation.
Chris, I want to thank you indeed for your time this morning. We're grateful.
Thank you, John.
That's Christopher Amoako, and right there joining us from the northern region, Tamale Central to be specific. And rise in glory. But Helen, a quick thought though before we go for Womenpreneur.
Yes.
Do you get a sense that government has communicated well in terms of, because the update we keep getting is one funeral event after the other, but not much is being said about the investigation. Do you think the government has communicated well?
I think maybe after Friday we can start to make heads and tails of what has happened, what has transpired. I don't expect that the results of the investigations will be made available very, very quickly. I think maybe we should manage our expectations. I do see the clamor for answers. Everybody wants to find out what is going on, especially because I think it will put a stop to some of the conspiracy theories that are swirling around, and each and every day they get even more wild, the reasons that are being ascribed to this crash. So I do think that, fellow Ghanaians, we need to exercise a bit of patience and let the investigation be thorough enough so that once we get that answer, it is conclusive once and for all. We can all accept the reasonings for what happened. So maybe after Friday, we can start to maybe put a bit of fire on government's heels. But even then, I think some patience is needed.
Some patience indeed is needed, and that's why we want to bring you a conversation with the special guest who will be on Womenpreneur this morning here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. You don't want to go away. You want to listen to this conversation. But first, let's go to the presidency and well, the phone lines are misbehaving. Now and speak with Hajia Shamima Muslim. She is a government spokesperson at the presidency. Hajia, good morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Good morning, Johnny, and wa alaikum salam, Johnny. I hope you're all keeping well.
Well, we're trying. Difficult time for all of us.
Very much so.
Yes.
Very much so. I mean, thank you very much for the coverage of the tragedy. Thank you for informing the public and also, the ethical way that you have done it. Thank you.
We appreciate you as well. Let's begin with, I know that there's an entourage in Tamale as we speak for the final adua for Comrade Murtala Mohammed, but we also know that Friday has been set aside for that national memorial. What do we know? What do you want to share?
Right. Thank you so much. On behalf of His Excellency the President of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, I'd like to, even before I get to your question, once again extend his deepest sympathies to the families of our 8 courageous heroes who have departed this realm. He extends his deepest sympathies and assurances of his commitment to continue to support the grieving families through this difficult period. He also continues to extend his gratitude to the families for the cooperation, their patience, and their understanding in the lead-up to all the processes that had to be done before we were able to establish the identities of the remains and to also allow for a burial to take place 2 days ago for the Muslim victims. And of course, this Friday, we're expecting to inter 4 more. And then at a later date, the families of the 2 remaining would also be supported to give a befitting burial to their loved ones. What is happening today is that some special prayers and adua. It's 3 days after the interment, and per Islamic tradition, we have to sit around and read the Quran and repose the soul of the departed into the bosom of the Almighty Allah. So in Tamale, the Honorable Murtala's 3-day adua will commence this morning in Accra at the residence of Alhaji Muniru Limuna. There's also going to be an adua and Quranic recitation happening in Accra. For Honorable Murtala's Islamic termination, that will end his funeral rites. But I believe that for Alhaji Muniru, also that he is a chief, there would have to be at a later date another sitting in Damango where he comes from. So that's what is happening today. And preparations towards Friday are in full gear. We will be making some announcements, especially with the security and the road closures and how people are supposed to get to the Black Star Square on Friday. We expect everyone to be seated by 8 a.m. because the tributes are many in 8 families. We will be honoring and celebrating, and so the earlier we start, the earlier we can hopefully conclude, so that the military will proceed to the burial of our 3 service officers and the defense minister. Hopefully the 4 interments will happen on Friday. So basically, those are the updates that we have for you. And for the media, we have requested those who need accreditation, especially just for photographers and videographers within the inner perimeter, kindly apply for your accreditations. All other coverage will be given clean seats behind the sitting arrangements. So there are locations to all the media. For those spaces, you don't require accreditation, but for the inner perimeter, you will require accreditation.
I know that questions are abound, and I'm sure you have heard some of them regarding how far investigations have come regarding the plane crash. Would you want to give us some heads up?
Safe to say that the president is expecting a diligent work to be done, a transparent work to be done, and also a balance between due process and speed. Safe to say. I think at the right time, the body mandated to investigate would give us all the updates that we are all waiting for expectantly.
Haji, I want to thank you very much indeed for your time, and we wish you all the best.
We thank you too, Johnny.
Thank you very much indeed. And,
Bye for now.
Great. And that was Hajia Shamima Muslim. She is a presidential spokesperson at the office of the president. It's 20 minutes to top of the hour. Mariam Jasmine Saka is founder and president of the Jasmine Book Foundation Book Exchange, and she will be here. We're talking about balancing being a boss and a student at the same time, and that's a Womanpreneur segment. Good morning to Senior Robert Nunu this morning, who's doing the listening, and to all of you who have spent time staying with us so we could serve you breakfast. Again, I want you to reflect on this song as we dovetail into Womanpreneur. 8 fathers have died. What happens to their families?